Hello everyone, welcome back. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about the Baker Act and the 72-hour clock. So let me just talk to you a little bit about the Baker Act and educate you on the two types of Baker Acts we have here in Florida. Yeah, there's two. How about that? One is involuntary. The cops take you, judge issues an order where you get taken as a result. A clinician initiates this thing, but you're taken against your will, okay? Once you get to the receiving facility, the clock, the 72-hour clock is supposed to start ticking, okay? And when I say supposed, I'll talk about that in a second. The other way is we went to a hospital, and maybe you went there because, your meds stopped working, or you weren't feeling so good, and you wanted to be assessed. And somebody at the hospital said, hey, do you want to be assessed? Sign here. Guess what? You just signed what's known as a voluntary admission agreement, and you're Baker Acted, and you've agreed to it. I know it sounds nuts, but it happens all the time. And guess what? There's no clock associated with a voluntary Baker Act, and you can be held indefinitely without a court order. So here you go. Involuntary 72 hours, voluntary indefinite time period. So here's the rub with the Baker Act. Once you're Baker Acted, nobody actually knows you're there, right? And what I mean by that is there's no reporting, right? So the hospital that's held you, the Baker Act facility that's locked you down, okay, reports to absolutely no one. So when I tell you that nobody knows you're there, I mean it. Nobody knows you're there, right? No judge, no lawyer, no administrative agency. There's nobody watching this stuff. So that's number one. Number two, as a general rule, because the Baker Act facility is a licensed agent of the state's mental health system, meaning they can physically restrain you, lock you up, forcibly medicate you, they enjoy sovereign immunity. So even if they do it wrong, guess what? You can't sue them for this. You're not getting any money as a general rule. And I know that's frustrating because I get 2 or 3 calls a day from people who want to sue. I wish I could tell you I can get you money, because if I could, I'd have been retired years ago. Right? So I just want to sort of set that as a foundation. Now, families call us. I spoke to a gentleman last night. His wife's been Baker Acted. He said the 72 hours is expired. I said, what do you mean? How do you know that? He said, what do you mean by how do I know that? I said, how do you know the clock's even running? Pregnant pause. He said, well, what do you mean, how do I know it's running? I said, yeah, how do you know the clock has started to run? He said, well, how can you say that? I said, because nobody knows that your wife is even there. They're not reporting to anybody. So who says it started and who says it's ended? I mean, do you understand where I'm going with this? If nobody knows you're there and they cannot be sued, who knows when the clock started, if it's even running, if it's expired? Who knows if they've even filed to keep somebody? Because that's done under the guise of confidentiality. So when I tell you that, your loved one's fallen into a big black hole and nobody knows they're there, that's what I mean. And so this is why, if you've watched any of my other videos about the Baker Act, I'm a very, very strong advocate that the minute your loved one gets taken, you should be fighting like hell to get them out. And that doesn't mean to say that you go over there and kick up a stink and get yourself arrested, because that's what can happen. It doesn't mean you call the police or a local politician or your buddy who's the police chief. Forget that stuff, okay? It doesn't work, and it's just not the right way to go. And frankly, if that's what you're doing, I don't want to know about it, because I'm not getting involved in that. I'm a lawyer, okay? After 32 years, I know what works. You got to go to court, and you got to force them to let your loved one go. That's the way this works. And if you're not willing to do that, and you're not willing to fight to get them out because the facility is telling you, oh, it's just a couple of days, and you're willing to take the risk, that's okay. Okay, it's a no judgment zone. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm telling you what I would do. I'm telling you what, at this point, close to 1,000 other families have done, and we've been able to successfully get their loved ones out. So that's, the 10,000-foot overview of the Baker Act and the 72-hour clock. How do you know it's running? What difference does it make if it is running or it isn't running? It doesn't make a difference. You got to fight to get your loved one out. That's the bottom line. And if you're not willing to do that, then I understand. That's okay. But understand that can have dire consequences. So that's my 2 cents. Have you had a loved one Baker Acted? What happened? What was the result? Please give me your 2 cents. I'm interested to hear what you think about the Baker Act. If there's an issue going on in your family, and I've not talked about it, let me know. Post in the comments. I will make you a video, because if that issue is affecting your family, well, it's almost certainly affecting somebody else's. And I make this content so you can get the information that you need. Also, in the description for the video is a link to our brand new book all about the Marchman Act. We spent a lot of time and energy making this thing, and it's yours for free. Okay? All you got to do is click on the link. You give us your name, your email address, and we'll send you the book. At the end of each chapter is a video that I recorded, and it's all part of the whole explanation of how the Marchman Act really works, okay? And so I would encourage you to download it. If you like this content, please give us a thumbs up. It helps with the algorithm. It helps us to get this in front of more people, which means we can hopefully make a bigger dent in Florida's broken, draconian mental health system. And if you want more of this content that I make every day, please subscribe to the channel. With that said, thank you for tuning in. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.